I have to start my review of Machete by saying that I'm disappointed in myself for being so surprised at just how exploitive this film feels. And I say that because I knew going in it had its grindhouse roots, but I hadn't realized just how 70s grindhouse-ish this would feel. Now, early in the opening scenes of the film, we actually have the hero blowing off heads at close range, hacking off limbs with his machete, using a gun with a severed hand still attached to it, and carrying a naked woman over his shoulder. And then Steven Seagal appears and cuts off a woman's head with a samurai sword. Now, he actually plays the local Mexican drug lord, and which sounds unusual, but so is a lot of the casting. Now, and all I just described to you, I really think takes place in the first 3 or 4 minutes before the credits started. Now, aside from Seagal feeling out of place, how about Robert De Niro and Lindsay Lohan? Ever thought you'd see Lindsay Lohan starring with Robert De Niro? Or Seagal with De Niro? All three together in the same movie? Nope, me neither. Yet somehow Jessica Alba, who's in the movie, feels right at home with any of them, or at least she does in this role. There's actually a full nude scene with Jessica Alba that starts off where you don't know quite what you're looking at, and then you don't quite know who you're looking at just from the camera angle and such. And I'm pretty sure that the reason they did that is purely so that one is inspired to watch the film again. And actually, thinking of that scene, that reminds me that Lindsay Lohan is nude through almost all of the film, and the first time we see her, she's naked on the floor, trying to recover from a heroin fix, while her, dad is violently rescuing her. Again, all very exploitive, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned that, right? Because the nudity in this film isn't anywhere near as over the top as the violence is. Now, most people are going to a film like this for the action, and I'd say about half of it is actually very good. There's a few boring scenes or redundant scenes, but even when it is boring, I have to admit that it was original. There are lots of death and images that I have not seen in film before. One especially humorous one, very grindhousey, exploitive feeling, involves someone's intestines. When you see it, you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, Machete and his companions clearly kill more villains than we ever see introduced, which gives you the feeling that there is an endless supply of no-name villains just waiting to be propped up and taken out and such, which isn't such a bad thing in a movie like this, but if you're looking for deep characters, you're not going to get it here. But there are 4 or 5 main villains, and when any of them did get killed, it almost always came as a surprise to me. And that's hard to do these days, so I will give it some credit for that. Some people are writing that there's a message about immigrants, Arizona's recent laws, etc. No way. That's just a disguise around what the film is really about, which is lots of lowest common denominator, sex and violence. That's what they're going for in the Arizona immigration type mentions and all that kind of stuff. Nah, that's just window dressing. Now, I found myself laughing along with the film's absurdity a lot of the time because I knew the filmmakers weren't taking themselves seriously either. And that's actually kind of a good feeling once you kind of resolve yourself to enjoy that sort of a film. The editing and pace of the film are relentless. You would be surprised at how much film is stuffed inside an hour and 45 minutes. It feels much longer, but not in a bad way. This movie is just fast. Things happen fast. They don't waste time. Hard to rate this film, but trust me when I say that if you think you want to see it, you probably will and you'll love it. If just what you see, the trailers, the ads, anything I've said turns you way off about it, you probably want to avoid it because you're just not get into it if you don't have the right mentality. But if you want to see it, you'll probably really love it. So, thumbs up for me. I'd probably give it 3.5, at least 3 stars out of 4.